Hello everyone, welcome back to TG64. Now today's video is a bit different than expected. That's because we are going over my tier list of Fnaf games, what I like and don't like. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video, and with all that being said, let's get into the video. Alright, and here we have the beautiful list, starting with OG, Classic, Middle Ground, Memorable, Could Be Better, Not Great, Bad but Not Sure. Now I chose these words because I I didn't have any other words to put in these categories, so I just chose what I think best fits it. And now in these games that we're going to be reviewing based on my experience and opinion, we got Fnaf 1, Help Wanted, which I haven't played, but I will be going over what I've watched or seen. And then we got Fnaf 4, Fnaf 2, Ultimate Custom Night, Fnaf 3, Fnaf World, Sister Location, Special Delivery, and Pizzeria Simulator. Now, let's get into Fnaf 1. Five Nights at Freddy's 1, the OG of them all, and the start of an awesome, fabulous community. Now this game, when it first came out, was very scary. The noises, the spooky setting, and a pizzeria filled with ghostly animatronics. I've always loved scary games slash movies, and this was a new experience for me. At the time I was playing, I was 5 or 6, and this game really freaked me out, really. So much that my parents told me not to watch it because of how scary it was. But I did, and man, you could not create anything more scarier than Fnaf 1 once was. So that's why Fnaf 1 is in the OG category. Let's take this bad boy to the OG, where he belongs. Next Fnaf game. Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Now this was a very different game to compare to the first one. This game was made shortly after the first because of massive popularity. Now this one had the most action and panic than all the other games, besides Ultimate Custom Night. We'll get to that later. This one introduced the mask mechanic and also took away your doors, so meaning you would have to survive with just basically the Freddy mask. And there was also an added challenge by the marionette by flipping up your camera and winding up the mystery box. First of all, when I was young, this game was very hard for me to beat because there were so many mechanics introduced that it was hard. Like Foxy and BB teaming up on you, BB especially, because if he gets into your office, your night is over in an instant because of Foxy. Foxy in the game was really the big threat, mostly because you had to keep flashing your flashlight at him to make him calm down. But overall, I really enjoyed Fnaf 2, but because of more challenge and panic. Now this was ultimately when Fnaf started to become not scary, but Fnaf 2 I will place in the classic category, mostly because of scariness. It wasn't that scary, it was just hard. So we're gonna put this bad boy in the classic. I would have put it up in the OG, but because of the scariness, it's really not that scary. It's just more like hard, like a tough challenge. But anyways, let's get on to the next game, shall we? Five Nights at Freddy's 3. This one, in my opinion, was the comeback of the scariness FNAF once was. This game had one threat, which was Springtrap, and little tiny threats to help them reach you. Now in this game, and FNAF 2, has these awesome mini games that reveal some of the story of what happened in FNAF. Now if this was a lore ranking tier list, FNAF 3 and 2 had the most lore. So that's why I would have put them higher. But now this is just a ranking video about gameplay and scariness. Now, this game made you extremely vulnerable because you had nothing. You didn't have doors, you didn't have no mask, you had nothing. The only thing you had was audio cues to lure Springtrap away from you, because if he reached the office, your night would end there. And then you had mini threats that will distract you from luring Springtrap, because when they jump scare you, those ghostly figures, they'll just distract you, they'll cause errors in your maintenance panel. And that really made it scary for me. One thing it did lack was challenge. Most of FNAF 3 was very easy. Very easy. Once you know the gist of things, so for that reason, I'm gonna have to go with, it's hard to decide. I'm gonna have to go with middle ground. Mostly because it didn't have quite as much challenge as FNAF 2, but it was, at the end of the day, very scary. Anyways, let's get on to FNAF 4. Is the fourth entry into FNAF. FNAF 4 was like a mega improvement of FNAF 3, a bigger brother, so to say. In this game, you're still vulnerable. No doors, no camera, no audio cues, nothing. Just your old pal flashlight. Now, to get rid of the animatronics in this one, you had to literally get close to the door and listen out for audio cues of them breathing. And then when you hear them, you gotta be quick about it. You gotta close the door. And man, oh man, I really got scared in this one, because you had to have your volume turned up so loud to hear them breathing that when they jump scared you, it literally scared you. For real. This one, I didn't play much because it costed $5 and I was a little lad, but I did do a little bit of, shady business to get it free. FNAF 4x4 was very challenging, and at the same time, scary. It also had fun minigames, like the last few. So, my ultimate ranking for scariness of gameplay would be OG for FNAF 4. Now, the reason being is that FNAF 4 was a freshly baked FNAF 1 almost, but nobody will beat the top master of FNAF 1. So OG is my final ranking for FNAF 4. On to FNAF 5, aka FNAF World, the mega drop of the FNAF franchise. FNAF 5? No, FNAF World. Oops, sorry. FNAF World was a massive change of pace. FNAF literally changed into a children's RPG, quite literally. Now, a lot of people / YouTubers did not play this because the game was short with only a few endings. This game I played the hell out of. So much that at my auntie's house I installed it on her computer and played it for hours. It was nice. It was a nice little cute little game that surprisingly had a lot of lore. But the main piece of the game, like I said, was a turn-based RPG of sorts, with all the FNAF characters in it. FNAF 1, FNAF 2, FNAF 3, FNAF 4. The battles were fun, but could get very annoying when you missed a spot on the map you were supposed to go to. But it was fun at the same time, taking your turn and fighting these random mobs. Scariness, well, if you're scared of children looking animatronics, then well, no, this game ain't scary at all. Even the scary looking animatronics aren't even scary, because they look like children toys. But all in all, I'm gonna have to rank it, and well, you're not gonna like this, but I'm gonna have to rank it memorable. Now, the reason why is because it's not scary, and that's what FNAF really is. But I think of this game more like a spin-off to FNAF, but one thing it did great, which I really loved, is at the end of Update 2, it announced the next game, which was Sister Location. So, Sister Location. A weird name/game to the FNAF series, but it is still tailored as FNAF 6. And boy oh boy, this game was massively focused on story/lore other than gameplay. Mostly because you have a person talking to you at the beginning, and also later in the game the animatronics guide you, which is Baby, and speak to you, like to stop moving and such. This game had lots of funny jokes, like this one, for example.
Exotic butters.
The game had a few cool gameplay stuff, like fixing all the animatronics, like Funtime Freddy. Mostly this game was lore/story focused. Now the spoopiness was a good amount, but further in the game you don't die because of Baby guiding you. But if this was a lore ranking tier list, this would be upper in the list, but sadly, I'm gonna have to put it in the could have been better bracket. Now, the reason for this is because the whole game is not really focused on gameplay and scariness, it's more focused on the lore and story of what's going on in this entry into the series. But it could have had more gameplay, like FNAF World. But hey, still great game all in all. But all of Sky games are great. Anyways, on to the Pizzeria Simulator. Five Nights at Freddy's 7, aka my favorite FNAF game of the whole franchise, FNAF Pizzeria Simulator. This game in particular put you in the shoes of an actual Fazbear Entertainment franchisee owner, your own building. Firstly, when I heard this game coming out, I thought it was an actual pizzeria simulator based off FNAF. And that alone was a pretty cool concept, and if done right, and I mean right, it could be an actual good game. Like placing your stuff down, like an actual full pizza simulator. But you can't have a FNAF game without the freaking horror. So, in the start, it has you interviewing an animatronic, well not interviewing, but playing little sounds. Now, this gaming aspect, would be included throughout the whole entire game. So, in order to get money, like fast, you would have to salvage these things and add them to your pizzeria. You know how crazy that is? Now, this alone, interviewing an animatronic, was very unsettling and scary. You're face to face with the animatronic, and also to gain money, like I said, you have to salvage it. You have to play scary noises to bait it so you can salvage it, so you can make money. Also, in this game, it had this cute little guy. Then, after the interview, you're in an actual simulator. Buy items for your pizzeria and placing them down to get a better rating to get more money. Then, once you're done placing your stuff that you purchased down, you can playtest it and do these awesome little mini games, like this one for example, up on screen now. This one's a little bit funny because Helpy breaks his neck, but yeah. Just listen to this awesome minigame music. Like, listen to this, man. It's fantastic. After that, it was time to do the classic Fnaf stuff. Sit in a dark office and survive till 6 a.m. Now, this specific game, you had just 2 vents, right and to your left. And the only defenses you had were turning off your work computer so they wouldn't know you were there, and audio lures to lure some of them away. This alone was by far the least defenses a FNAF game had. Also, this game had a lot of lore. I mean, like, the whole game was lore, but it's a little better than Sister Location. So I suggest, for lore, I suggest you check out MatPat or other theory videos for the lore, since this video won't go over that. Also, one thing I forgot to mention was you could actually get lawsuits from specific, I can't speak today, but yeah, items you bought, and this was just an awesome feature. Like, it was super realistic, like, buying poorly made items and getting a lawsuit, that was just fabulous. Also, to note, this game was, in fact, scary, but not the most. So my best ranking, I'm gonna, this is a tough one. I'm gonna have to go with OG. Mostly because this is my favorite game of the franchise, and to me, it had the most gameplay. You could play mini games, interview animatronics to get money, placing stuff down for your pizzeria, and then the classic Fnaf. But the scariness in this game does lack, but still, everything about it is great. I actually think Scott, or whoever's in charge of Fnaf now, should do an actual Fnaf Pizzeria Tycoon of sorts. But with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get on to Scott's last game, which is Ultimate Custom Night. And here we are with Fnaf 8, the last and final Scott-made game. Now this one had everyone, mostly everyone, because there are a few missing, from previous games. This, man oh man, was the hardest FNAF of all time. So, in earlier FNAF games, they had a unique mode called Ultimate Custom, or not Ultimate Custom, Custom Night, where essentially you could set AI levels for all animatronics in the game to any you like. There's also a special setting that everyone did, which was to set every character in the game to 20, which was the max AI difficulty setting. So, for FNAF 1 for instance, there's 5 animatronics and you can set them to 20. FNAF 2, there was 10 animatronics and you can set them to 20. In FNAF 3, there were 6 animatronics, and you could set them to 20. I think 6, I'm not sure. And so on. But this game included 50 animatronics. 50 to go up against. Which all had special features and abilities and things they're weak to. Now, imagine 50 of them all set on 20. Boy, oh boy. And here's what it feels like to beat 50-20 mode. So, anyways, once again, this also had lore and a few special cutscenes, which showed the lore, so to speak. But overall, I'd say this game was the most gameplay-focused FNAF ever was. Also, it was pretty scary facing it up against all the animatronics, but we've seen some of these animatronics before. And at this point, everyone was immune to their scares. So sadly, I'm gonna have to put this game in Classic, unfortunately. That's because it's just because it didn't have much new faces. It lacked some scares. All in all, it still was the perfect FNAF game featuring all your favorite characters. So, anyways, unfortunately, we're gonna have to get to the EA of FNAF. FNAF Special Delivery. Five Nights at Freddy's 9. First mobile-focused FNAF, and you already know how mobile games are. This FNAF game was named Special Delivery, an AR, a game for your phone. This game really was great at the start, but sadly as time went on, it got more microtransactions, which ruined the game for most of us, for most people. The gameplay was you with your phone camera defending its animatronics in your house, which was really cool actually, because basically it was real life FNAF. It was awesome. But later down the line they released more animatronics, but unfortunately those animatronics were only accessible via microtransactions, which was very bad, and on rare occurrence I think, but it was very rare. It made the game less enjoyable. But I would say this, some of the special animatronics that they made were actually very cool. Like, I actually liked the designs. And also they should have deserved their own game, but we'll see in the future. But once again, you had to spend your real life cash for these because the game was free to download, and free to play apps usually mean microtransaction heaven. The other cool feature was you could make and build your own animatronic, your hybrid, using the microtransaction suits from the shop and by just using the ones you captured. Like, you could have a Freddy Springtrap if you wanted to, which was really cool. And you could send it to your friends for rewards, which honestly was a great feature. Also, this game had every animatronic from FNAF 1 through 4, I think. I haven't played the game up to date yet, but I just now downloaded it, so I'm gonna see how it is. But this is a tier list video. So, my honest thoughts / rank is I'm gonna have to go for, you guys ain't gonna like this, but, like, if you like the game, you ain't gonna like this, but I'm gonna have to go with not great. Mostly because there were so many microtransactions that some of the gameplay is locked by, and ultimately made the game worse. I would have rather paid $5 for the app to have no microtransactions. But I see where Scott was going for. He wanted to make money since most of the FNAF games he released, like the past few ones, were free. So I guess that makes sense, but FNAF 1 through Sister Location were purchasable for $5. Anyways, on to the last and final game to be ranked as of June 2021. FNAF Help Wanted, the last game we have left on this list. And before we do so, make sure you guys are subbed to the channel. I know this is a shameless sellout, but I really want to grow this channel. Because recently, I've seen 90% of y'all aren't subscribed. So, if you could, just hit that red subscribe button down below. It would be great if you would do so. So, thank you if you did so. Let's continue on to Help Wanted. Five Nights at Freddy's 10, the latest release of Fnaf as of June. Now this one was the first Fnaf VR, and the game name was Fnaf Help Wanted. I'm surprised Fnaf got popular enough to be on VR. Like, in my opinion, this game was a comeback for gameplay and scares. FNAF 1 had. Because basically, you were in the game. You weren't at your desk. You were in the game. Now, I didn't play this one, but I do have some experience with VR and basic VR stuff. Because I played Beat Saber on my PS4 VR, and it was by far the most fun I've had. Anyways, we're off topic. Let's get back to FNAF here. FNAF VR Help Wanted had all of the FNAF games in all, but with an addition. They all had an hard mode option variants, which really made it scary and challenging. In the first 3 games, it had the classic office survival. I can't speak, sorry. It's late at night, but anyways. We've seen, but they're more scarier since you're not at your actual computer desk. You're in the game, for real. Now, a lot of YouTubers I've seen played the game got really scared. And I would have felt that too if I played it. So, to see everyone's reaction to the game made me think that this game was scary again. So, scary is up there, so that's a check off. But now, gameplay. I think this was the best I've ever seen in a FNAF game. They switched up the gameplay so much that it was actually a fun looking game. It also had a free content update later in the life cycle with more levels with a new face, Dreadbear, and Grim Foxy, which one of these levels had you explore an open world of such with Grim Foxy chasing you down. Man, this game was fabulous. I'm sorry for that was a little messed up right there. My script is a little messed up. So, rating, my final game ranking is OG. So let's put this bad boy in OG. Now, reason being, this game really seemed like FNAF 1 again. And that is pretty much all I have to say. Now, thank you everyone for watching this, however long this video is. But I hope you've enjoyed this video as much as I did making it, because I spent 3 days on this. And I actually tried with my editing to make hopefully something good. And before you leave, just make sure you drop a like and subscribe for more well-edited videos. I'm trying to get into a schedule, but I don't really know. So, you know, it could be random when I make videos like this. But, with all that being said, goodbye, and I'm gonna go to bed, because I am tired.